he was talking about how jujitsu back in the day was defense based, where an average student will go into the gym and they actually know how to defend themselves against strikes and
Hmm.
defend themselves against an opponent that's actually like physically trying to hurt them. Whereas
Hmm.
the new kind of jujitsu that most people will get involved with now as a white belt is sport jujitsu,
Yeah.
where you don't necessarily the skills aren't necessarily always transferable in real life situation. What do you think is like the best approach or the best way?
Um, so I'll tell you, I think I can almost guarantee you're going to agree with me because you learned from Professor Omar. So, I'm like the way I love all forms of jujitsu.
Yeah,
I think
same.
it's beautiful and I think it's creative, right? But I learned jujitsu because I wanted to fight. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I didn't learn jujitsu to learn jujitsu. I want to do MMA, so it's just functional. Like, so the way I teach still, and the way I train still when I do train, is I go old school Brazilian jiu-jitsu self defense, like like how to defend yourself from strikes and close guard and takedowns, whatever else, whatever. Because I find even for me when I roll with the I stick to the absolute basics. So when I do roll with these more modern guys, like these brown and purple belt like studs,
Yeah.
I might not beat them, but I know how to defend myself at all times. And they're going all this worm guard and inverted and weird shit. I'm like, all right, but and you might take my back, but you're not going to fucking choke me because I
Yeah.
learned how to defend myself in a fight first, right? So I find that traditional Brazilian jiu-jitsu and self-defense training works no matter what the rule sets are. So I try to coach that first.
Yeah.
And you know, what I mean, now it might not win you matches, right? Because of the way the advantages and the points and the lapels and all these things work now, it might not win, but it's still very transferable. Gi, no gi, IBJJF rules, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
right? So but so I still love the creative side of jiu-jitsu. Someone said to me once, they like something they're talking about art or music and blah blah blah, and they're like, yeah, Justin, you're an artist. I'm like, I'm not an artist. They're like, yeah, you're a martial artist.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, that makes sense. Like, there's real when it comes to that point. Like, how long you've done jiu-jitsu now? Like 15 years, like that, that long?
Around that. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. 14,
Yeah,
14.
right. So, and how many times, like, how much have you watched it evolve? You learned probably close guard, and then you sort of, and then eventually Eddie Bravo came along, and there's the rubber guard, and then there's and the De La Hiva, and every year, every 2 years, it changes what's popular over, and it all constantly reinventing itself. Now it's some the worm and all the new lapel stuff. It's always changing, but that's what makes it fucking awesome too,
Yeah,
right?
the
So
the thing was with is that I was doing a lot of that shit before. There just wasn't a name to it. And then like
yeah,
and some guy or some really good guy went into some tournament, started trashing people with it, and then all of a sudden they got that name. So like there's like stuff like the worm guard or like I play a lot of half guard, but then like
mhm,
I don't even know the fucking term. Someone was like, "You're doing this." I'm like, "I don't know what the fuck that is." I just put my shin there, and that's what I've been
yeah,
doing
yeah,
for 10 years. But it's got some new name because some guy did it. So I mean,